Hi everyone, Dr. Suneel, Dhand, internal medicine physician. Welcome to another video. So President Joe Biden has now officially withdrawn from the 2024 US presidential race. And I want to talk about it in this video because I consider this a medical issue. More people within medicine should have spoken up, but no surprises that they did not. Because after the debate, I made a video which was widely viewed regarding the disastrous debate performance and the concerns that I had. Of course, it was widely acknowledged across the political spectrum as being a disaster. And in the few hours after the debate, I put out this tweet. My prediction, President Biden will be replaced by a new nominee within 6 weeks. As a physician, this is painful to watch. The man should be retired and comfortably enjoying time, relaxing with family, and doing whatever makes him happy, like any old frail man. This isn't right. Oh, Dr. Dhand, you are such a wise sage. But all joking aside, I think a lot of people knew that this was coming because over the last few weeks, we were all treated like fools. And the medical establishment, hardly anybody talked about this. And can you imagine for a moment that it was President Donald Trump who had the same issues? All hell would have broken loose. You would have had hundreds of doctors on the mainstream media talking about how this was unacceptable and how, quite frankly, it was dangerous to have somebody who had some degree of neurocognitive decline being president of the United States. But this is a reflection of the partisan times we are in. There were so many assertions that everything was good and things would have been okay in 4 years' time at the age of 86 had President Biden actually won the presidency again later this year. And then we had the debacle last week when all eyes, quite frankly, were on President Biden and he mistook during the NATO summit President Zelensky for President Putin. And then he called his vice president Trump. Pretty big mistakes to make when so many millions of people think there is a cognitive issue and everyone was watching. That was, quite frankly, sadly laughable and probably the final nail right there. And this is, of course, a reflection of the clown world that we live in. I know I've used this term many times before, but I think it is brilliant to describe the current state of affairs. And the medical establishment, the fact that doctors were not weighing in with this very obvious concern reflects to me, and I've known this for some time, that the medical establishment is equally a part of the clown world. It is completely and utterly captured. A couple of weeks ago, I was having a talk with a good friend of mine's son, who is 15 years old. He's not a US citizen, he is from overseas, and he looked at me, he calls me uncle. He said, "Uncle, did you watch that debate? Me and my friends couldn't believe it. This man has a serious issue." And he told me that him and his teenage friends were basically laughing at this situation, saying, how could you have a leader like this? And people aren't saying that this is totally inappropriate to have someone with cognitive decline leading a country. Many would say the leader of the free world. Lots of people have known this for a long, long time, even before the debate. And it is a reflection of us as the general public being treated like stupid people, like we are complete and utter fools. And I take particular offense to this as a doctor. I know that not a lot of doctors speak up about these very obvious issues, but we keep getting told these days by our authorities, by our leaders, by the mainstream media, that what we see with our own eyes is not true. Everything's okay. President Biden would be okay in 4 years' time at the age of 86, that he's not going to decline. He's going to get better. How utterly ridiculous. Whether it's a man with very obvious, sad neurocognitive decline, whether it's the observation by millions of people that a medical therapeutic is obviously not working, or whether it's other things like you could take a rural farmer from Papua New Guinea or Tibet who's never seen electricity, never seen a TV, never seen the internet, and they could look at someone and within 2 seconds they could say, that is a man and that is a woman. But of course, in our modern culture where authorities want to blur everything that is very obvious to anyone with an ounce of common sense, everything is up for question. Things that are very obviously true are not true. What we see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears didn't happen. That's what we keep getting told. But sometimes the lies and the attempted cover-up become too much. They become an avalanche and things fall off a cliff. And that is what you saw this weekend. Many of you who have followed me for some time know that one of my favorite phrase is three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And that is what you always see in the end, no matter how much people try to do the opposite. And this is a very sad situation. Once more, looking at it from a medical scientific standpoint, you have a man with very obvious cognitive decline, and simple human truths are simple human truths. Many of us have faced this with relatives of ours. Things do not get better, they get worse over time. There is no way that however President Biden is now will be the same or improved in 4 years' time at the age of 86. And it was ludicrous that we were in this situation in the first place. Again, this is not about character. This is about cognition. As I talked about before with President Trump in a recent video, you may not like someone's character. That's fair enough. Everybody has different character traits. But when it comes to a cognitive decline, it takes things to a whole new level of urgency. And despite the fact that so many doctors were not honest in the public sphere regarding this very obvious concern, many doctors on a daily basis do have these discussions with patients and their families, where we sit down and we are very blunt and honest because it's a safety issue. It is not appropriate for you to drive. It's not appropriate for you to be living alone. We sadly have to have these discussions on a daily basis because the truth is the truth, but sadly not in our public realm. When it comes to the establishment narrative, when it comes to the mainstream media, as a physician, trying to do the kind thing. I always want to do that. I always want to approach any situation like this with compassion and empathy and human to human. I say, coming back to that tweet, that I hope President Biden can now enjoy his retirement. At his age, he should not be in a high-stress job. Of course he shouldn't. That will only make things worse. He should be treasuring every single day. Every day is a blessing. He should be enjoying time with family and friends. It should be about quality of life at his age, and I hope finally now he can do that. But it is well past the time that should have happened. Thanks everyone for watching. Feel free to comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Check out my website and my health programs. Those links are down below. Hit the like button if you like this video and the bell button for more similar videos in the future. We will speak again very soon.